Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Moore and I am the self-published writer of Writings from the Restless. And today we're going to talk about what we would tell, or what I would tell my young writer self if I could hypothetically create a time machine and go back in time, even though I can't, but that would be pretty cool. So, this is what I would tell myself back then. Number 1, read everything. And make sure when you're reading, pay attention to how things are structured and put together. And I say this because especially as I'm getting older and I'm becoming more cognizant of the things that I'm reading, I'm noticing that you get a lot of clues into how to put a sentence together. How dialogue works, whether dialogue should stand alone from a paragraph, whether it should be within a paragraph, when you should begin and end a paragraph, chapters. How do you do chapters? So paying attention to all of those different things really helps. And that, I think, would really benefit me if I could have done that way back when instead of doing it when I'm 24 years old. Number 2, there is no perfect way to write because you will hear all the time, show, don't tell, not too much description, don't make your dialogue boring, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so many rules that people have for writing. But at the end of the day, there's not a perfect way. If you want to be super descriptive, be super descriptive. I mean, don't do a whole story that's like super descriptive because that's too much. But if you're doing a short story and description is vital to what you're doing, add description. Stop focusing on what everyone else is telling you and write. You can fix it like better later, but you can't edit words that don't exist, as everyone else will tell you. Number 3, you can and you will succeed. It's not as intimidating as you might think it is. And I say this because when you're growing up, you think, oh, I want to be a published writer. And then you learn about it and you're like, wow, whew, those rejection rates are really scary. Because they are scary, guys. I mean, I'm talking, from what I've heard, like 9 out of 10 is going to be a rejection. Maybe 19 out of 20. That's a lot of rejections. But the good news is that in today's age and time, you can self-publish. And if you're self-publishing, you don't need to be traditionally published. You don't have to find an agent. You don't have to go through the rejection process. Now, I'm not saying you should not have an editor and do things professionally to make sure that it's good quality, but I'm saying that you can make things happen on your own. You can have control over it. You can hire your own editors, decide if you want a line editor or a developmental editor. You can hire a cover artist. You do it all by yourself. It is an option. So don't stress about it so much. Just write. Enjoy what you're wanting to do and don't think about, oh, how will this ever be published? Oh, I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Don't. It doesn't matter. Just write. Please, just write. Number 4, enter as many writing contests as you can. Now, growing up, I never entered writing contests and I really wish I had because I had the internet. I had no excuses. And by entering writing contests, you get to see what other people bring to the table, how you can improve your writing, and you get to practice writing in different ways. For example, I was given a prompt. Okay, you have 2 people sitting at a table, 500 words, what happens? That's fun, that's different, that's making you exercise your mind, and you're doing all these different writing activities to get your brain flowing to see what's going to happen next. So I would encourage myself to do that, because it's going to encourage you to write in a different way and to think in a different way. And number 5, set aside time for writing. And this is the most important thing probably, because as I was growing up, and especially as I got to college, writing was not important. I was never in the mood to write. I was tired. I was exhausted. And when I did get the motivation to write, it was random inspiration. And it would be like right before I went to calculus, which happened several times. And I got some pretty good stuff out of that. But I mean, it would hit randomly. I didn't sit down every day and make myself write. I didn't meditate. I didn't do the things I wish I had done that would have made me a better writer. Because if you don't write, you're not a writer. So write. That's what makes you a writer. And I'm not saying you have to write every day, but if I just set aside any time, 10 minutes a day to write or to put my thoughts towards a writing idea, I would feel much better about it now. Because the entire college career that I went through, I did not do that at all. So that's really disappointing. But that's the 5 things I wish I could tell my young writer self for sure. Read more, pay attention to what you're writing. There's no perfect way to write. You can and you will succeed. Enter as many writing contests as you can and make sure you set aside some time for writing. And I think that's all I've got for today, and I will see you guys for Monday's video. And as always, all the links to my social media, or if you want to purchase a copy of Writings from the Restless, which is my self-published collection of short stories and poetry. All of that beautiful stuff is below. And again, I'll see you guys Monday.